Good morning, guys. This is your everyday investor. I've gotten several requests on how to maintain leather shoes. And so, what I wanted to do is just go ahead and give you a few tips on some items that you can purchase real quick, real easy, and some real quick techniques on what you can do to maintain your leather shoes. So, the first item you want, of course, is a bag. I got this bag from, actually, this came from Manscaped. This was a free gift with the purchase of some other item, so just any bag will do. It doesn't have to be anything special in particular, because you gotta have several items you want to keep all together. So it's a whole lot easier when you've got just a bag or something to throw them into. But rolling right into it, you're gonna want you some towels. Microfiber works best for me. Just the little ones. Just keep those on hand and stick them in the bag. Next thing you're going to want is an even larger towel. I use this towel. This is literally just a rag, but I use it to sit across my lap while I'm shining up the shoes. It gives me an opportunity to watch YouTube videos and stuff like that while I'm doing other things. Something else I use that's not really as important, but definitely is pretty cool to use is this suede and leather protector. This particular one's by Cole Haan. This is something I use. There's usually a last step mechanism to kind of seal things up, protect against water, stains and things like that, scuffs, supposedly, after the final process is done. And a shoe dauber. These things are actually new additions to my leather care technique, and I'm actually almost embarrassed to say that it took me so long to pick up on saddle soap. But saddle soap is almost like a miracle. You can use this literally on any type of leather. What it allows you to do is clean your leather. Of course, on the can it also says soften and preserve, but this stuff really works well. It's got some emulsifiers in it and a couple other things that really bring your leather back to life. And this is something that I typically use every, say, 3 to 5 wears. This is gonna get in there, loosen up all that dirt that's gotten into the cracks of your leather, bring it out, and then also soften that leather. This is really good if you've got some new shoes and they don't fit very well. Maybe they're a little tight. Maybe they just haven't had an opportunity to fit your feet just yet. This will also help kind of soften it up, allow it to form to your feet, give you a much better feel overall once you soften that leather up. Probably my favorite items to use are shoe polish. These are here made from Kiwi, and then one of these is from actually Johnson & Murphy. Any shoe polish will work. This stuff is really inexpensive. A couple things you want to make sure that you get are the different colors. That's why I've got 3 here. This is a very important step that you don't want to skip, is making sure you use the right color polish for the right color shoes. As you notice, these shoes I have here, I don't have a pair of black shoes, but they are all different colors. So it's going to be important to make sure you get the right shade of shoe polish. And usually I don't come with 3 colors. That's, the black, the darker brown, and then a lighter brown. And that's really all it is when it comes to giving shoes their color, is finding the closest polish and matching them up to your shoes and using them on them. Okay, the first thing you're going to want to do is remove your laces. Your laces are going to kind of get in the way of some of the leather parts, and also it's a good idea to, if nothing else, soak your laces in some soapy water, get them cleaned up. You'd be surprised at how much dirt and dust even your laces collect over time. Alright, so go ahead and grab that saddle soap out. This is what it looks like on the inside. It's basically just a soap. It's kind of a white, kind of thick, almost fatty substance. It's, of course, got those emulsifiers in there, so it is a soap. And in the lid, pop that lid open and grab you some warm water and just toss it in that top there. So grab that shoe dauber, which I got this in a pack on Amazon. These are wooden horsehair bristle brushes, and I got a pack of them for, I don't know, $10 or so. These things will last you for a little while. The rest of them I just stored away for when I lose one or just need a fresh one. So put those bristles up pretty good. your warm water. Warm water is important. And one thing you're going to learn is with leather is a lot like your skin. Leather works best when it's clean. You know, it's got pores just like your skin does. So of course you're going to want to get in there and you're going to want to really make sure that your leather stays clean. This is like your exfoliation for your skin. You're getting in there with your exfoliating brush. You're just going to want to just kind of scrub the leather a little bit. And it's, like I said, it's a soap, so water's not going to hurt it. You're just going to want to really get in there and scrub your leather. And listen, this stuff smells good on leather. You ever wondered why your leather maybe stops smelling like leather, or just doesn't give the same look and feel that it would when you first get it out of the store? And that's a lot of times just because you hadn't been taking care of it. So this episode, getting in all the nooks and crannies, specifically on the leather. And of course, as you see, a little bit of the old polish might come off. That's okay. These are actually one of my favorite pair of Kohans. And I say one of my favorite pair of Kohans because I actually wore these on our wedding day about 4 years ago now. And so I really wanted to make sure I could take care of these shoes before I just went out and started, wearing them on a daily basis. And even now, I probably won't wear them on a daily basis just because I do want to maintain the overall integrity of the shoe. So I don't want to make it a daily shoe where I'm putting all that extra wear on it. So now that you've got that shoe good and lathered up, it's good and wet, you've gotten down in those corners down there where you collect all that dirt, grime, grease, grass, all that stuff. Make sure you clean down in there too, because that's going to really make your shoe pop when that area there is clean. So take a microfiber towel, pop it up, and all you're going to do is now you're going to wipe this house soap off. One thing I noticed the first time I cleaned these shoes, which is a little bit odd, is the way the original polish came off of these. Now, I'm not necessarily worried about how it looks right now, but if you look at it, if you wore these shoes out in public, you'd probably say, man, what's wrong with these shoes? I mean, it's missing a lot of color there, and I think a lot of this because I've never shined these shoes before. So that initial polish is the only polish it's ever had. I've never really maintained these shoes like I was supposed to. So if your shoes start looking like this, it's really pretty discolored right now, don't worry about it, because the next steps are gonna fix this. So what we're doing is really, like I said, we're cleaning this leather, we're getting a good foundation to start back and building it up. And even right now, this leather feels really supple, feels a little bit wet. So this is what you want. If you get to this point and you're a little bit worried, don't be, because this is just a step in the cleaning process. This doesn't normally happen on shoes that I've maintained a little bit better, but this particular pair, I see it's kind of doing a little bit of that. Okay, so originally these shoes were a dark brown, almost this color, maybe a little bit lighter. Now you see we're significantly lighter than that shoe. I want to take this opportunity to show you another pair of my favorite, which are probably my hands down favorite original pair of Kohans that inspired me to get this pair. Is this pair. What's so impressive about these is I'd never seen a color lace like this against leather. And I mean, it was just something about it that made it pop. I got these shoes probably almost 10 years ago, and I literally thought they were trash. And this was the video I think that inspired most people, or the picture that inspired most people to want to see a video on how to bring your shoes back to life. But just to kind of give you an example of how worn these shoes are or were, I haven't had an opportunity to fully fix them, but this is why these shoes almost made it to the trash. I set them up on a desk one day, and somebody said, hey man, I think your shoes are ready for the trash. And this is what was under there. Yeah, like I was filling rocks, I was getting all kinds of junk through here. I mean, this is this, you probably can't see it, but this goes straight to my foot. And then there's another one forming there. So these shoes had a good amount of mileage on them already. And at some point, I actually took these to a shoe collar. And if you look back at the picture, I mean, I had all kinds of gashes in there, nicks. The color was off. Everything was bad. And I asked him how much to bring these shoes back to life. And the guy told me, it'd be about $120 or so, which I paid but $100 for these back when I got them, so that didn't make a whole lot of sense. So I debated on throwing them in the trash or giving them to somebody, but who's going to want a shoe with a big hole in the bottom? So I just decided to work on these, get them back to life, which actually came back pretty good. And at some point, I'm probably going to still get this sole fixed, because I think this particular shoe had a much softer sole. So this would cause it to wear so quickly. But anyway, this is just an example of how you can bring your shoes back. So because this pair of shoes has lightened up so much compared to where it used to be, I'm actually going to go with the lighter care shoe polish versus, well, actually I've got the wrong one. I'm going to go with the tan shoe polish instead of the darker brown shoe polish, just because I really liked the way the older tan looked on these original shoes, which is what inspired me to get these shoes, is because they had gotten so bad, and they weren't making this one anymore. They had switched to this one. So I'm going to go with the tan instead of brown. And the tan looks like this. Of course, this is a solid shoe polish, which I recommend. It will crack up on you over time. Matter of fact, I use the brown a whole lot more. This is what you end up with over time. And this is 9 times out of 10 what your father or grandfather used to clean their shoes a long time ago, which I must say really makes it worth it. So jumping right in, a lot of times you'll see people maybe wrap a towel around their fingers, go in at it, and then wipe it on the shoe. But what I learned works better is just your hands. If you get in there and you just grab a little bit on your hand, your thumb like this, this is really the technique which I think made this thing all come together. And you want to take this and just start gently rubbing it on the leather. Now, this process does take a while, especially on a shoe like in this condition. And even still, don't worry about the unevenness just yet right now. And each time you're not grabbing a whole lot off your thumb. It's just really enough to almost make a fingerprint with. But rub it on that leather. Rub it in on that wingtip there. And just go around the whole shoe. Rub and polish in. Just grab a scoop with your thumb and rub in. The more time you spend on this step right here, making sure that you've gotten an even distribution of polish, the better. So again, I wasn't expecting the shoes to look like this after the treatment of saddle soap, but they did, which is probably going to make for a much more effective video. So you'll see, the actual breakdown of the leather, and then the restoration of the leather. And so even now, just above the wingtip, you're starting to see how the discoloration is starting to fade as I rub it in. And here, where the crease of your foot hits, you're going to spend a little bit more time. And I'm going to show you what's happening there. But on the tip with your hands, so like I said, leather's like skin. Skin is warm. Skin is malleable when it's warm. And so leather also absorbs a lot better when it's warm. So if you get in there, and one of the tricks, why I like to use my hands, is if you get in there and really start using your hands and warming that leather up, you're going to start to see it shine. You're going to start to see that leather, that polish start to take place. And even on the crease of your toe. Spend a lot of time on the crease of the toe, but not with a lot of polish. Just really rubbing it into those creases. And what you're going to find is, this is how you erase creases in your leather. Okay, about midway through, I stopped working on this side and just worked on this side. And even here, you can see a difference where that crease, that toe crease that travels across here, It's still here, but not as much here. And that's just a result of continue to work with your fingers and your thumbs and just rub that polish in, really warm it up. So now, take your horsehair brush if you have one. If not, you just wet a little microfiber towel. But this is going to be the buffing process. When you wet the microfiber towel, just damp it. Don't just soak it, just damp it a little bit. But take your horsehair brush and just start to just buff that polish in. What's important too is if you have black and brown shoes, make sure you have at least 2 separate brushes and know the difference between the two. So that you don't take brown polish and put it on your black shoes or put black polish on your brown shoes. But even as I'm buffing it, you're seeing what's happening. That leather is really brightening up. I mean, look at the difference there. Just in that little bit of buff. And even on the toe, which I'm probably going to come back with a little bit more polish and work on that. Just go around and buff it up. So here is the end results. Man, look at that shine. Shoe trees and shoe horns. Shoe horns help you get in and out of your shoes so you don't damage that back portion of your shoe. Shoe trees, you can get a couple different kinds. You get these split toe cedar, which I really love. These will help keep your shoe from deteriorating from the inside from moisture. Wood absorbs moisture pretty well, and the cedar smells really good. Keeps your shoe smelling good pretty long. And then the split toe helps avoid that shoe crease, and it helps keep the integrity of your shoe all around. You can also get these little plastic shoe trees I got from Walmart. I mean, they do the same job. It's just that you don't have nearly the versatility that you have with one of these split toe cedar. Also, get you a shoe bag. This one was from Hide and Drink. That makes some really good leather product. A lot of their stuff actually comes in a bag, so I just ordered a product and came with a bag big enough for shoes, so I stuck a pair of shoes in. It's easier to collect bags than it is to go up and buy bags on purpose. But that's about it, guys. That's how you take care of leather shoes. I'm going to lace these back up and finish the other one. I'm probably going to wear them today.